Barbate raised the bluefin tuna trap, and with it came its most prosperous season. The capture of the most sought-after and valuable delicacy in the coastal towns of Cadiz begins through the traditional and ancient art of fishing, such as the almadraba, a real tourist attraction. Bluefin tuna have begun migrating from Atlantic waters to spawn in the Mediterranean, and Cadiz fishermen are waiting for them in the Strait of Gibraltar to hunt them using an ancient artisanal fishing technique, almadraba. The tuna will be trapped in a ring formed by the narrowing net and boat until there is no way out, and at that moment the men use fish hooks to plunge into the sea to kill them, turning the water red. Tuna blood. While this form of fishing may shock many, so will the taste of this tuna dish when it hits the palate, as there is certainly nothing else like it. This is one of the most coveted products by chefs in restaurants across the country, and even more so outside our borders. So the best option is to taste it at any establishment in the area or buy it at a local market. And the best destination to try this delicacy from the sea is in Barbate, where Barbate Almadraba has started its fishing season this Thursday with the first posting of wild red tuna by the company Cadiz Pesca Chico made. The captured specimens were transported to the port of La Albufera de Barbate, where they were sectioned or ronqueo, which is also a special technique refined over the centuries and is called sonic do. The knife created resembled the sound of a person snoring. The start of the tuna season is not only a boost for the fishing industry but also has many other impacts in the towns of Cadiz, and especially in Barbate, which has had a very complicated year with a focus on trade. Sell drugs. However, as the Barbate City Council pointed out on its social networks, with this Levantor, the season begins, and with it, a new illusion that every year brings wealth, tourism and the best seafood for our metropolis. It should be noted that this year the 4 existing almadrabas in the province of Cadiz, those of Barbate in addition to Zahara, grouped in the Organization of Seafood Producers Almadraba Op 51, are distributed a total plus 1,643,167 tons, of which Barbatina has the largest bluefin tuna quota with 454,124 tons. The remainder will allocate the assigned quota so that the Tarifa trap has 349,454 tons, the Conal trap has 426,325 tons, and the Zahara de los Atunes trap has 413,264 tons. Over thousands of years, since Phoenician times, numerous civilizations have established themselves here, in the south of the Iberian Peninsula and in front of the Strait of Gibraltar, for a single reason: the annual migration of the large bluefin tuna towards the Mediterranean. Such was the importance of this fact, that entire cities were created exclusively dedicated to fishing and marketing, thus contributing to the development and expansion of the main cultures and empires of the ancient known world, the Mediterranean Sea, the Mare Nostrum. The almadraba could be defined as the way in which man, since time immemorial, has managed to intercept the great bluefin tuna in its migratory passage through the Strait of Gibraltar. To this day, the almadraba continues to be a fixed and selective fishing gear. An ingenuity of the human being that, year after year, tries to deceive the great ocean. But the truth is that after more than 3,000 years of history, it continues to depend on its whims and vicissitudes to guarantee its success and continuity. The fishing campaign of each season will always depend on factors that are difficult to control, from the migratory routes of the bluefin tuna and the presence of orcas, to the lunar phases, the tides and currents of the Strait of Gibraltar, or the temperature, salinity and clarity of its waters. Over the centuries, the extraction system of this red gold has evolved almost imperceptibly, however, during the last half-century, with the entry on the scene of the demanding Japanese market and the strict quality criteria present in the crude oil industry. Tuna slaughter methods have been perfected to unimaginable levels. The result is a visual spectacle in which this complex and fragile fishing art, with a 3-millennial tradition and completely artisanal execution, has managed to adapt to the demands of the current market by adopting slaughter techniques from Japanese culture. The animal's suffering is drastically reduced, thus obtaining the maximum level of quality for which it is considered gastronomically the best tuna in the world. Nature Tarifa has managed to go where no one has ever gone before, so that you can witness, on the front line, what until now has been one of the best kept secrets of our time. An event practically inaccessible to the public, and which is, without a doubt, the greatest spectacle of natural history. First time, standing up. The Barbate trap occurred at 1:45 p.m., at high tide, and was resolved. with the catch of 30 samples of wild red tuna of very good size, since the largest piece weighed 380 kilograms, according to today's report by the company Petica Chico, which markets this fish. Thus, the traps of Barbate, Connell, Zahara de los Atunes and Tarifa begin the fishing season with the ancient art of wild bluefin tuna, which at this time of year they pass through the Strait of Gibraltar, on their journey to the Mediterranean to breed. The bluefin tuna catch quota assigned to Spain this year is 6,783.67 tons, which can be caught by 811 vessels and traps in a specific census of the catch of this species. Cadiz traps will maintain the same wild bluefin tuna catch quota in the 2024 campaign as last year, which was 1,475.92 tons. Last year they added more than 146 tons obtained from other fisheries. Barbate trap, Cadiz, begins the first bluefin tuna lift of the season. Almadraba of Barbate, Cadiz, started this year's fishing season with the first wild bluefin tuna catch by the Cadiz Petica Chico company. After being captured, the samples were transferred to the port of La Albufera de Barbate. The Almadraba season consists of 3 phases: exploitation, and in which all the equipment has been prepared to then be transferred to the sea, buoys, nets, anchors. Fishing takes place from late April to early June with traditional fishing activities, and lever, the final stage in which all the materials that facilitate the catch of wild Almadraba bluefin tuna on the Cadiz coast are collected. According to Gadira, the start of this new trap campaign was awaited with great interest. On the one hand, due to unprecedented demand, Gadira was forced to limit the sale of wild Almadraba bluefin tuna in October. In fact, for the season that has just begun, there is already a section of the catch dedicated to this product that has become one of the most precious products in the culinary world for its excellence, quality, and taste. Its quality and sustainability. Gadira pointed out that sustainability is one of the great novelties of the Almadraba 2022 campaign. With the start of fishing, Gadira opened new facilities at the El Olivar Industrial Park in Barbate, with super freeze technology being pioneered in Europe by using this technology. Natural refrigerant. Sustainability therefore extends from start to finish, from catching it in traps to preserving it at -60 degrees Celsius, the company emphasizes. This year is also very special for OPP 51. This organization celebrates its 20+2 anniversary, postponed by 2 years due to the COVID-19 crisis, popularizing the culture and professions related to the art of fishing that spans these 3 millennia, a source creating jobs and wealth in Almadrabero towns. OP51 has been a dialogue body between the various regulatory agencies and the fishing industry since its establishment in 2000, with the aim of ensuring the appropriate and sustainable use of wild Almadraba bluefin. On the Connell Almadraba route, we'll depart from the Barbate Marina and learn about the labyrinthine system of net construction and placement, where large anchors and buoys give way to traditional Connell de la Frontera traps, while the crew tells the story. The development, operations and techniques of the art of bluefin tuna fishing span 3 millennia. Also enjoy the beautiful views of La Brenna Cliffs Natural Park and Marismas del Barbate. We'll leave behind the legendary Trafalgar Lighthouse to cross the Atlantic to Almadraba de Connell. We will explain the migration that Atlantic bluefin tuna have been making in these seas on their way to the Mediterranean, via the Strait of Gibraltar, for thousands of years, and how humans have taken advantage of this fact, how to exploit and commercialize. It will take about 1 hour to cross to reach Almadraba de Connell. When the fisherman is ready, we will conduct the approach maneuver. To do this and not to interfere with the complex fishing maneuver that will take place, we will place our boat about 100 meters from the crypt, the last part of the entire trap structure, where the ladder will take place. Famous machine. Approximate reference location, Marine Atlantis, for trap fishing. We will explain in detail what we are about to witness and what are the factors that determine the success of the fishing day. The moment the current of the strait stops, coinciding with the change of tide, the maneuver will begin. In front of us we will see the boat called Sacada. This is where the entire crew of the trap will go, on the orders of the captain, pulling the coded net when the diver, Frog, gives the signal that the tuna passed under the said ship. This moment is of vital importance, since the success of the fishing day depends on it. After catching the tuna, we will observe how by pulling and lifting the encoded net from a depth of about 30 meters, Sakada approaches the closing boats while starting to sense aerial movements. Rest of the red giants nearby. Surface. Slaughter techniques imported from Japanese culture such as lupara and ikiyame will ensure that the catch is minimally affected, ensuring maximum quality of the species considered bluefin tuna the most delicious in the world. Once the first boat carrying tuna leaves the hold, it will be time to return to port to wait to see, from our boat, the unloading of the tuna catch. It is possible that the above-mentioned unloading took place in the vicinity of the trap, in the open sea, directly on the factory ship that Japanese companies, customers of the trap belonging to OPP-51, carried out for this purpose. Make a purchase on a specific day based on the days recommended by Marine Atlantis as optimal. It is advisable to stay in the area for about 2 or 3 days, so that if for some reason it is not possible to make the visit on the chosen day, maneuvers can be made to advance or delay the visit by a day. On those days, customers will be notified of the next fishing day as soon as possible. Availability will be announced on our website. Departure times may vary slightly depending on tides and fishing activity, although any changes will be notified to customers in advance by necessary notification. Since the fishing quota assigned to Almadraba will mark the end of the season, it is advisable to make purchases before the start of the campaign. Traditionally, the traps were in all the coastal towns of the province of Cadiz, but now they are concentrated on the coasts of Conil, Barbate, Zahara de los Atunes and Tarifa. It is one of the towns in the area with the most atmosphere, especially in summer, partly because of the urbanization built there. Vast pine forests, such as those at Roche or El Colorado, often extend to the beaches, helping them retain their pristine quality. Along the 14 kilometers coastline there are stretches of sand to suit every taste. White and smooth, with transparent water that allows practicing all types of water sports and has unmatched beauty. From May to June, several restaurants in this town participate in the Almadraba Tuna Road, with delicious dishes and a variety of innovative tapas, where, logically, the main character is tuna. In its food market, in addition to the protagonist of this tour, you can also find local species such as bosa negro, urta, snapper and croaker. A sight that no traveler should miss. Located in what the Greeks called the Column of Hercules, the city has been associated with the sea and fishing since ancient times. The present and picturesque fishing port predates the Phoenician fishing port, which consecrated the people as exporters, by implementing the Almadraba system that has been maintained to this day. With the Roman Empire, the city experienced its greatest glory, becoming a prosperous land thanks to the fishing and salt industries. The beaches are beautiful and ideal for swimming and water sports. Like in Conil, the food market stands out, but there are also canneries, among them we recommend Herpak, where you can visit and see tuna being caught live. Its restaurants and bars join our tour with culinary demonstrations, masterclasses and tastings at affordable prices. Red tuna tartaki with a joblanco. El Pescadito de Bahia de Cadiz restaurant. Photo provided to ALTUM by www.cadizturismo.com. Additionally, we recommend visiting the Tuna Museum, where you can further immerse yourself in the traps, their history and the marketing of this fish. Due to its uniqueness, this district of Barbate has earned the nickname Charming Little Fishing Village. The activities carried out throughout the month that the route proposed here lasts come from the initiative of ACOZA, the Association of Merchants of Zahara de los Atunes, founded to promote local gastronomy through species animals gave this land its name. Your visit is a great opportunity to learn about and try the fish that is considered by many to be the black patter of the sea. Overlooking the sea, at the southernmost point of Europe and closest to Africa, this is one of the cities with the largest tourist footprint, having become the kingdom of windsurfing and kitesurfing. A place of worship also for fans of water sports or scuba diving. Tourists will be able to see that the urban layout of the center is reminiscent of North African towns, with white houses, squares and vibrant alleys where visitors of many different nationalities assimilated with the Tarrafinos themselves. 15 kilometers away is Bailo Claudia, a Roman city, founded in the 2nd century BC, that achieved great economic and urban development. Its main industries included salting fish, most of which was obtained through the Phoenician trapping system, and the production of the famous garum sauce that was exported throughout the Roman Empire. Your visit is more mandatory. With sculptures and tuna-shaped weather vanes, alerting visitors that craft traditions have been maintained in them from ancient times to the present day, and its cuisine offers some of the best tuna around. The word, al-madraba, comes from Arabic and means, where one fights or fights. Used since the time of the Phoenicians and later adopted by the Romans. This art of fishing involves installing a maze of nets near the coast so that tuna move from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean from April to June for spawning. Tuna fishing in barbait traps. Copyright Jose Maria Caballero. The net catches the tuna, which they keep swimming in as if it were a complex lake system, to be brought to the surface when there are enough animals in it. An action known as levantor begins a spectacular battle between humans and tuna. When the net begins to reach the surface, when the tuna are finned, their average weight is almost 200 kilograms. A spectacular type of sea boiling occurs. It was at this time that the so-called copiadors, more than brave divers, who carried cartridges, made a precise shot at the heads of these animals to preserve the fish's character. Control agencies verify and certify each catch, even taking samples for subsequent analysis. There is a limited tuna fishing quota each season, and in each levantor, there is even a civil protection delegation that verifies these details. This simple but effective art of fishing is completely manual, Tuna arrive at fishing companies to be butchered, an act carried out under the strictest hygiene measures and often referred to as tuna snoring. It is named after the sound a sharp knife makes on a fish's skin, similar to snoring. The cut in the tail or caudal fin marks the beginning of snoring and cutting of al-madraba bluefin tuna. The sound of tuna snoring. Image courtesy of ALTUM of an ancient technique that comes from Japan and requires great precision and professionalism, which is why it is performed by real masters, who make snoring a spectacle.